Hey everyone, it's Judy from Coffee, Cookies, and Books. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about one, my new TBR game, two, we're going to do a bit of a book haul, and three, we're just going to do a quick chat about the amazing Readathon. So I would really love it if you would stick around. So great that you can join me again. Now, what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk about the new TBR game that I designed and the rules behind it. So we will talk about that in just a little bit. I did also want to mention again, this video is going up, I believe, the 2nd of June. The Amazing Readathon is just starting. It's going to run for the entire month of June, but you can join at any time. I have left the links below. I am on Team Steel Watchers, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just coming off the Escape the Readathon. Absolutely crazy month of reading. I've read more books than I've ever read, even in a year, I think, in 1 month. And I'll be doing that final review. It'll go up next week. So it's going to be a long one, and I might actually end up splitting it up into 2 different videos because I read a ton in the last half of May. So I think June will not be quite as many, but it's still going to be a challenge because we've got 10 prompts that have to be covered, and then whatever else I read in between is just going to be a bonus. So we'll see how that all goes. Let's talk about my new TBR game. Now, my favorite game that I love to play is Yahtzee. And I don't know if anybody's ever played Yahtzee, but it is played with 5 dice, and it is a bit like playing poker a little bit. What I've done is I've taken the essential rules of Yahtzee and I've created kind of my own game card, and I have created my own sort of set of rules for it, and I wanted to kind of show that to you. This we're going to do in July and any other month going forward. Even if I have readathons, this will work fairly well. There might be the odd time where it won't, and then I just wouldn't play it for that particular instance, but in a lot of cases, it'll work. Now, like the Amazing Readathon is actually a good example where it probably wouldn't work because I have to pick books for very specific prompts, which I have already done, and I will leave the link to my June TBR below. Don't know if I mentioned that, but I have already done that. But it is one case where you have very specific prompts that you have to fit. So I just wanted to make sure that that was covered. And I don't know that necessarily playing my new TBR game would work. So let me show you the card. So this is the card that I created. And this is very similar to what an actual Yahtzee card would look like. And it has 4 games across. I think in Yahtzee there's 6. I only went with 4. And you have, basically you have to get 3 of a kind from ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then you've got 3 of a kind. So what I've done is I've made it 3 of a kind on a low roll, which is 1, 2s, and 3s. 3 of a kind on a high roll, which is 4, 5, or 6. So anyone, you want to fill in those. Then you've got 4 of a kind on a high roll and a 4 roll. Those are really hard to get. And then you've got a full house. A full house is a pair and 3 of a kind in 1 roll. Then small straight. So I just, usually there's a small straight and a large straight. I've left a small straight in because you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've kind of left that there, so that would be a little bit easier to get. Then you have what's called Yahtzified. So that would be Yahtzee, and Yahtzee is 5 of a kind. So you have to get 2 of these. So it's very hard to get. You have to get them on a high number, which should be 4, 5, or 6, or a low number, which would be 1, 2, 3. So you've got to get 2. And there's a little bit of a bonus there. There will be a bonus if you get more. So we'll talk about that. And then the last one is take a chance, which is 1 free roll. So for every game, you get 1 free roll. So that would be one instance where you could not get something to fit on the board. Now, it's not going to be that easy to fill. So as I fill each one, I'm going to be taking my little shiny stars and we'll be filling them up as we go. Okay? And so we have 4 games per card. So I'm just going to read off because I typed out the rules because I don't want to forget the rules. So basically the main goal is to fill in a 4-game sheet and 1 game before you move on to the next one. So there are some rules where that's concerned. So you want to roll, and you're going to roll for a square, and then when you hit a square, star goes in, and then you pick a prompt card. So there are 50 cards here, and it's a combination of specific book titles, random prompts, and color choice, cover color choices. So we've got all 3 are in here, and we will shuffle the cards, and it's going to be a complete random choice on what you get out of that. And each game begins each month with 6 rolls. Now, if you cannot fill a square, you have to pick a card, means pick a book, and you have to add a roll. Now, I have set it so that it's a maximum of 12 rolls. So basically double the 6, because I don't want to put myself in a position where I have to read any more than that. And there are other things that are going to impact what I read for the month. So basically it's 12 maximum. Okay. Now, there are some bonuses. So one of the bonuses is if we fill everything in the top half first before the bottom half is filled, then you get to eliminate one of the bottom. So that means you get to star it. So the first things you would star is your Yahtzified, because if you get an extra Yahtzee on it, Yahtzified on it, then you get to eliminate more squares. So the more Yahtzified, the more 5 of kind that you get, the less of these you have to fill in, so the faster you finish the game. So that's just kind of like a little bit of bonus on that, okay? So that's the bonus you get for the top, and that's the bonus you get for Yahtzified, but at no time are any of the top allowed to be eliminated. Only on the bottom can be ones eliminated, okay? So it does restrict you a little bit on what you can take out, and you can finish a game with a Yahtzee. So we shall see how that goes. Okay. So like I said, no games from the top can be eliminated. So once a game is completed, but not the whole board. So basically once a whole game is done, then I am allowed to either eliminate a book or add a book. So it gives me kind of a little bit of wiggle room that if I get to 12 rolls and I want to take a book away, I can take a book away. Now, if we get to it where it's finished, but I have not done the 6 rolls, then the remaining rolls, how many ever they are, have to be done on the next game, unless we get to the end. Okay, and I'll explain that in a minute. Basically what the rule says is if 6 game rolls are not completed when a game is done, then the rolls continue on to the next game unless it's game 4, and then it moves to rule 9. Once all 4 games are completed, then the next month's TBR is a free TBR. So that means the entire month is my choice. So no game will be played, and I get a free choice. So that's why if it ends on the last one and I haven't done all 6, that's a bonus, okay? And if, and then, like I said, the next month will be a free choice for me. The other thing is too, that if I get to the last one, haven't done the full 6, I have the choice of adding on some extra ones to that existing TBR as well. So it gives a little bit of flexibility for me. Okay. And then I say, the one thing that can interrupt the game will be the readathons, of course, and then books on any of my 3-year-long reading challenges. And I do have 3. I have 2 buzzword challenges, and I have the 25 must reads in 2025. All of the ones that I have for that. Oh, and I have my 25 and 25 bingo challenge, but that's a little bit different. That's just something that I fill in as I go all year. So the other 3 are the ones where I have specific reads. Those books can be used to fit any of the random prompts that come up. So if they fit, they fit. If they don't fit, they still have to go on as a must read. So those will be shown first, and then from there, then we go and we see what else we get. Okay, so that is really it. I mean, it's actually a pretty easy game to play. I love it. And as you can see, I've already filled in a whole bunch of these. So I have a ton that are filled. So essentially what it is 25, it's 50 cards. 25 are actual book names. And once those are used, they'll get tossed and a new book will go in because it'll always be 50 cards. And then the prompts will get reused. So unless I want to substitute in something different from the prompts, which is possible because I have a list of probably about 50 different prompts. And so there are probably about 7 or 8, no, there's 5 that are specific cover colors, and then 20 that are prompts, and then 25 that are book titles. So that's what's in here, and it'll just get, shuffled up like this. And then I'll split it in half. Top card will get chosen, and like this one says, lowest rated on Goodreads. So that is the way they're going to get picked. So that is it for my challenge, and I can't wait to do it. July will be the first time. And if anybody's wondering where I got this done, this is like a nice cardstock for the actual game card, and the card choices. It was all done through Vistaprint, done super cheap. I went on one of the discounts that I got, and I managed to get everything printed. So, and I have 25 of those card sheets for the actual play cards, and 500 of business cards that I got done, so that I can just toss them and use new ones when I need them. So I have more than enough of a supply of those. So that was how I got those done. So that's it for that. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to get on to a bit of a book haul. What I want to do is we're going to do a haul because I haven't really logged any of my books that were from Book of the Month, Aardvark, and then some of the ones that some were from Book Outlet, and then some Amazon purchases. So I thought what I'd do, these are all hardcover that I have here, and I thought, well, we'll just go through them one by one. So let's just start with Book of the Month, and this is, I believe, 2 months worth of books. Pretty sure it's 2 months worth of books. First ones, I think these were April's. So the first one is Enchantra, which is the second book. First book is Phantasma, and I do have that, have not read it yet, but they are interconnected romances, so they're not exactly, they're not continuations, which that's usually when you read regular romance, that's what you get. You get interconnected, where each of the couples are connected in some way, but not necessarily that you're reading a continuous story about the same people. And so when I read a romance, I do kind of prefer that interconnected. Fantasy romance it drives me a little crazy because it's like you got to wait for the next book for the story to continue. So I like this format a little bit better. So this being the second book, I believe this is the sister story of the woman who was in the first book. And so it just continues on from there with it. I'm not going to go into any long explanations on any of these books, but I do want to get to them. So I'm hoping that I get to it now. Phantasma is on in June as one of the books that was chosen, but I don't know if I'm necessarily going to get to it or not. But we shall see. If not, then I'm hoping to put it into the TBR cards for the TBR game eventually, because I would like to get that book read so that I can then get on to this one. Okay, so then the other one that I picked up is also romance. It's called This Spells Love by Kate Robb. I went and I read through because I haven't been buying Book of the Month for all that long, and I thought, well, you know, I try a few different romances. So this says it's a young woman tries to heal her heartbreak by casting a spell to erase her ex from her past, but wakes up in an alternate reality in which she's lost more than she wished for in this witty and whimsical friends to lovers debut. So obviously it has a bit of a fantasy element to it as well, and I thought that was really cute. So we're giving this one a try. It says, what if one little wish changed everything? So that's that one. That's why I have my glasses on, because I have to read this stuff. Okay, so then the next one that I got that I was really looking forward to, and these ones, the next three are from the May selections, and this was the first one, and this is a food story to binge, a ghost story to devour, a love story to savor. So I really like the sound. It's like, what if you could have one last meal with someone you lost? From what I gather, it is a chef who creates dishes where you can, while you're eating it, confer with somebody that you've lost in your life. So it's like a ghost. You're talking to a ghost. And the whole premise of it just sounded crazy to me, and it's something that I think would be really interesting to read. So that was why I picked it up. And yeah, I just loved the sound of it. And I liked the whole idea because I've never read anything where it's created around food. The whole idea of the aspect of the magical part of it is around food. So I loved that part. Then I picked up Alex North, The Man Made of Smoke. I have never read an Alex North book. I've heard that they're, you know, some like them, some don't. But I think that's the case with most thrillers and horror and that kind of thing. You know, some you like, some you don't like. And I figured I have not tried any. And I have seen some fairly good reviews of this one. Some that are kind of middle of the road, but some that have really quite liked this one. And I thought the premise of it sounded really good. It's the latest gripping serial killer thriller from the best-selling author Alex North. Dan Garvey's life has been haunted by the crime he witnessed as a child, narrowly escaping an encounter with a notorious serial killer. He's dedicated his life since to profiling criminals. When his father dies under suspicious circumstances, Dan revisits a small island community where he grew up, determined to uncover the truth about his death. So, and I think that it comes round full circle to him and the serial killer and that sort of thing. So I just loved the sound of it, and I thought, well, really would love to give this one a try. So then we have Silver Elite by Dani Francis, and I don't think this one needs too much introduction. It is a dystopian fantasy In the first book of a sizzling dystopian romance series, psychic gifts are a death sentence, and there are rules to survive. Trust no one, lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. So I love the sound of that. I thought it sounded really great. I know that there are a bunch of people that are talking about Dani Francis as a pseudonym for another author. I don't really care one way or the other. All I care about is whether or not I enjoy the book. So we shall see if I end up liking it or not. All right, so the next batch of books that I have are my Aardvark purchases. So again, we've got 2 months worth, and we're going to talk about what I got in May first. Now, these are both from Robert Jackson Bennett. This is Tainted Cup. This is A Drop of Corruption. This I have already read. So I completed this, and I will be reviewing it in my final May wrap-up, which will be posted up next week. I think I mentioned it's probably going to be in 2 parts because it was really quite long. If I didn't mention that, it's probably going to do that because I read a ton of books the last half of May. This was probably my favorite book of the whole month. So Tainted Cup, I thought it was geniusly written, so fantastic. So of course, this is a sequel. Now, this is a series, not a continuation of the story, but a continuation of the 2 investigators into their next case. So it is a series, but it is not a continuation, if that makes sense. It's just like any other thriller that follows an investigator, moves on to the new story. That's exactly what this one is. And I can't wait to read this one because I enjoyed this one so much. But the development of the 2 characters moving into this one, yeah, like super excited to move on to the second book. First one was like just prime. Love that one. The other one that I got is Dissolution by Nicholas Binge, and it says, read what it is. Some memories aren't lost, they're stolen. Maggie Webb has lived the last decade caring for her elderly husband, Stanley, as memory loss gradually erases all the beautiful moments they created together. It's the loneliest she's ever felt in her life until a mysterious stranger named Hassan appears at her door, revealing a shocking truth. Stanley isn't losing his memories. Someone is actively removing them to keep a long-buried secret from coming to light. So I loved the sound of that. I thought it sounded really great. Bit of a thriller, obviously. So that was one of the ones I picked up for April. Those were my April purchases. Then for May, I picked up 3. Now, the first one that I really wanted to get, which again is like a thriller horror, is When the Wolf Comes by Nat Cassidy. I loved the sound of it, and the isolation of it really fascinated me. So that was why I picked this one up. I have never read anything by Nat Cassidy, but have heard quite a lot of good things of some of the things that they've written in the past. So I thought, well, I'll grab this one, perfect opportunity. And so that was one of the ones I picked up. Another one I picked up is Julia Chan is Dead. And so this one, I loved the idea that this is about a woman who, she's a twin. Her twin ends up dying. Her twin was an influencer, well-known influencer, and she has decided to step into her twin's life and enjoy some of that. From what I've heard, it's fairly dark and a bit sinister, I think. So yeah, just the whole sound of it. Again, truly unique premise and very different. So thought that would be a good one. to try. And then the last one is a romance, and I had featured this in one of my, what's coming in the next month or whatever. And this was one of the ones I featured, and I never picked it up, and I did want to. It is a paranormal romance, Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson, and I thought it sounded like a cute romance, and I love paranormal romances, so I thought, what the heck, I would give it a try, and got it on Aardvark, and I love I will say, after reading, because I haven't been purchasing from Aardvark for very long, and after reading the Tainted Cup, the quality of their books to read, um, because I'm more of a paperback fan than I am hardcover. I find hardcover kind of hard to manage, but their paperbacks are actually fairly floppy, and 400-page book is a good sized book, so I had no trouble reading it. Was quite comfortable reading it. Such good quality. So looking forward to reading more of the Aardvark books that I have. And the last ones that I have are in a couple of different batches. So this first batch are books that I have gotten from Book Outlet. They had another sale, and I took advantage of that, and I actually picked up one that I really wanted to get, so it was really great. And then another one that I have, it's a 2-book kind of paired series. I picked up that, and a couple of other random ones. So first one was Some Shall Break, and I just finished reading, and it will be reviewed in the next review again, because I read it in May. I read None Shall Sleep, which is the first book in this series. The third book is supposed to come out this year, so I wanted to get this one, and when I saw it on Book Outlet, I grabbed it, and it is about these two young people who have been brought into the FBI to help the profiling, the behavior science unit. And this is just at the beginning where the BSU has just started. So I believe it's like in the early 80s. Could be wrong on the timing. But what I found interesting about it was, there's no cell phones, there's no internet, nothing like that. So it makes for a very interesting story. Loved the first book, so I was very excited to see that I could get the second book on Book Outlet for a super reasonable price. So that was why I grabbed that, and it's like very excited to read that. And then I got the Shadows Between Us. Now I have the companion book that, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there are 2 books. This one is They've Never Found the Body of the First and Only Boy Who Broke My Heart, and They Never Will. So both books are very dark in how they sound, and I thought, this apparently is the first one, and I did get the other one also from Book Outlet, so I thought it was really nice. And it was one of those ones with the fancy sprayed edges. Not that I care one way or the other. I got fancy edges on the Silver Elite book, and it's like I hardly even looked at them. So I don't really care about that. I care about what's inside the book. So this has got, it sounds like kind of a dark fantasy romance type idea. Oh, yes, A Darkness Within Us. Should have just looked at the back because it was on the back. So that is the other one that I got. And then I got this one. I have never read any books from Tricia Levenseller, so kind of looking forward. They're both short like this. I'll give them a try. Then I picked up one of the Kathy Reichs books. So I just finished book 12. I think I have 13, 14, and 15 in paperback, which I've already bought. And I'm not sure, but I have gotten from Book Outlet like from 19 onwards. So a lot of her newer books I've been able to pick up on Book Outlet, and this is one of them. So it is Fire and Bones, and I just, yeah, I'm not going to bother reading it, but it's about Temperance Brennan, and she is a forensic anthropologist, and she works out of 2 locations, Montreal, Quebec, and North Carolina. So between the 2, the stories go between the 2 because she goes wherever they need her, and I love that fact because the murder stories, mysteries change up all the time, so it makes it super interesting. Then I picked up Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. I have seen this one reviewed by a number of people that I follow on YouTube, one of them being Audrey from Chapters and Converse. And so I thought I would really give it a try, especially, when I saw it on the Book Outlet. Book Outlet also has the Christmas one, and I do actually want to get that one. But I would hold it over and not read it until Christmas. So if I like this one, then I'll probably pick up that one. So it'll depend on how I feel after I've read this one. Let's see, what does it say? Anything short here? It says, I'm Ernest Cunningham. Call me Ern or Ernie. When the Australian Mystery Writers Society invited me to their crime writing festival aboard the Gone, the famous train through the vast Australian desert, I was hoping for some inspiration for my second book. Fiction this time. I needed a break from real people killing each other. So, yeah, thought that sounded really good. And then the last one I picked up when I saw it on Book Outlet is Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies by Catherine Mack. I have seen some really good stuff about this one. So it is 10 days, 8 suspects, 6 cities, 5 authors, 3 bodies, 1 trip to die for. I loved the sound of it. It sounded like it had some comical elements going on there, but we shall see. It's, I think, a bit of a romance, that kind of thing. Yeah, so I'll pick that one up. And I mean, I actually love the cover. I think the cover is really cute. I love the look of her eyes in the cover. Yeah, so those are all the ones that I got from the Book Outlet. And then these other ones are all ones that I really wanted to get. And I did pick them up on Amazon. I did get sales on them. None of them were pre-orders. I got them after the pre-orders came out. So then a percentage came off of them, and I was like, okay, I'm going to grab them because they are all hardback. Now, I don't know how big the percentages were on the Matt Dinniman ones, because those ones kind of go on and off for the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, but I did pick them up. These are books 3 and 4. Okay, so the first one is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Now, I do have the first three books in the First Law trilogy. I have not read them. And I do want to read them because I've heard nothing but great things about them. And all of the things that I've heard is that Joe Abercrombie's style of writing is my jam. Okay? It's got dark elements to it. It's got fantasy elements to it. It's got humorous writing to it. It's just, yeah, really sounds like something that I quite like. But I thought, well, you know what? I loved the sound of this one. It says, holy work sometimes requires unholy deeds. So, and I do always like something that kind of skirts around the idea of religion, but from sort of a demonic point of view, which I'm not sure what that says about me. But anyway, I thought this sounded like it would be a really great read. So I bought it. Yeah. I can't wait to read it. It sounds so fantastic. Okay, then the other one I picked up, which I was really on the fence, it's Shields of Sparrows by Devney Perry. Now, I do like Devney Perry. I have read quite a few Devney Perry. I even got some on my TBR that I haven't read yet, but Indigo Ridge and Juniper Hill, I've got those, and I would really like to read those. But did like the sound of this one. I know it is a fantasy romance, but it says if you're not terrified, you're doing it wrong. I'm not going to read any more than that. I think I've been trying to not listen to reviews of this one because sometimes it's like you just want to go into it a bit blind and just enjoy the read. Like, I have not read Fourth Wing, and there was a point where you couldn't hear anything about Fourth Wing. It was either good or it was really bad, and it was just constant. It was like you're being hammered with it, and I won't listen to anything about it anymore, and I'm not going to read it right away. So it's still like I just want to back off a bit before I actually read it, because it's like you just hear so much crap. It's like I like to judge for myself. I can tell you, based on what I read at the end of May, there were a lot of books that I expected to like that I didn't like at all. So reading is very, very subjective. It's like how each person translates what's written in a book is just, you just never know what you're going to get. So I like to kind of just not know too much going in. So I bought it anyways. I mean, this is another one of those instances. This is a beautiful book. I don't know who designed this, but it is absolutely, absolutely stunning. This is a Red Tower book, and they do know how to design a book. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. But I think a lot of times their stories are a little bit it's just pure entertainment, and maybe that's what this is, but we shall see. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to giving it a read. Yes. I mean, even the end papers are beautiful on the inside. Like everything about this book. I didn't even look at the cover. Oh, look at that. Even that's gorgeous. Yeah. So, I mean, this is really, it's actually a stunning book. It's like you almost don't want to read it, but it's, I'm not hard on my books. I'm very careful with my books. So I read this one. Okay, then, oh my gosh, Dungeon Crawler Carl. I love Dungeon Crawler Carl so much. I read the first one. The first one blew my mind. Loved it so much. Second one is on my TBR for June. Will get read in June, so I really want to read it. And then these are, I think this is book 3 and this is book 4, I think. I mean, obviously I'll check before I read them, but I'm pretty sure. So 3 and 4, I'm pretty sure that that's the way it goes because they get thicker as you go through. And this one's thicker than this one. So anyways, those are the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook, which is this one, and The Gate of the Feral Gods is this one. And of course, there's good old Carl with Princess Donut, which you can't miss. And yeah, so doesn't look like the, here there's the little pet that they ended up with, which is, I shouldn't say it, Velociraptor. But it doesn't look, I don't know if he's continuing on in this one. It's like pretty funny. Anyway, I love the series. I think it is just truly, truly unique and one of the funniest things I've ever read in a very long time. So very much looking forward to reading those 2 books. And yeah, I'm hoping that I'm going to pull them. And you know what? They might be very well the kind of books that I just pick them up and read them because I want to read them. But I have the 4. There are 6 that are out. So I only have 2 more here. And the 7th one's coming out. So I don't know if the 7th one is the last one. I don't think so. I think there's supposed to be more in the series. So there's 18 levels to get through. Now, I know that it really depends, I guess, on how many levels, if it's 1 level per book or however it goes. But anyways, yeah, so much fun. All right, so that's it. I don't have anything else to share with you. Think, like I said, my next video will be my final wrap up for May. Uh, I've read like 25 books in the last half of May. I read 14. And I did that review, and I will link that below. And then I have another like 25 ish that I'm going to have to review. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it, and I probably will have like kind of my least favorite to my 3.0s, and then my last video will be my absolute favorites of the month. And we'll talk about them in that way. So I think that's kind of a lot of fun. It's like you hear about the crappy ones and then you hear about the good ones. So I'll probably do it that way. But that's it for me for now, and I will see you in the next video.